Hi, and welcome to the NewsGuard Academy. In today's video, we're breaking down Matryoshka, a Russian government-aligned influence campaign that spreads fabricated stories disguised as legitimate news reports. The name Matryoshka comes from the Russian nesting doll. That's fitting, because the campaign hides fabricated stories inside content that looks like real journalism. Matryoshka creates fake videos that mimic trusted outlets such as Reuters and the BBC. The videos often use real logos and authentic-looking footage. Then they overlay AI-generated narration to insert entirely false claims, and then distribute these videos primarily on Telegram and X. In a recent investigation, NewsGuard identified 28 fabricated videos and images tied to Matryoshka that targeted Ukraine before and during the first few days of the 2026 Winter Olympics. For example, one fabricated report posing as Canadian broadcaster CBC News, seen in the background here, falsely claimed that Ukrainian athletes were being housed separately from other athletes because of aggressive behavior. The video begins with about a 15-second clip from a real CBC News segment about life in the Olympic Village. But then it switches. The remainder of the report used stock footage and an AI-generated version of the journalist's voice to fabricate a completely false story. Let's watch the video now and look out for that switch.
So this is it. This is the Athletes' Village in Milan. Not a particularly big village. It's normally bigger at the Summer Olympics, but it's especially small this time because there are so many villages. There are like 6 places scattered throughout the Milano Cortina area where athletes are staying. Here in Italy, all the mistakes made in France have been taken into account. Specifically, the Ukrainian team's accommodation has been placed as far away as possible from others participating in the Olympics. And it was done on purpose. It was a correction of the mistakes that had been made in Paris. In Paris, the Ukrainian team proved to be extremely toxic, provoking conflicts with other athletes. Here in Italy, it was decided to accommodate them as far away as possible from other athletes so that the conflicts they provoked would not interfere with other countries' teams preparing for the competitions.
To better understand what makes this campaign notable, we spoke to NewsGuard analyst Alice Lee, who investigated the Olympics-related falsehoods.
What struck us was the traction, since Matryoshka has been ticking over for several years now, but had been going through a sort of quieter patch. We found that these claims gained significant traction, appearing on, for example, Pravda news sites, gaining in total millions of views on Telegram, gaining what seems to be quite organic spread on X, some of them even making it to mainstream Russian media. And mainstream political commentators in Russia were also citing one of them, which we found to be quite unusual for Matryoshka, and it shows that actually this campaign can be really effective.
I also asked Alice why an international event like the Olympics might be a prime target for the Matryoshka campaign.
The Olympics can be a time where people who maybe don't watch the news so much suddenly international issues around Russia-Ukraine, for example, kind of re-enter their headspace. And I think perhaps the idea was to preempt this by discrediting Ukrainian athletes, visitors, refugees, any Ukrainians in advance. And I think we've had a good example of that with the Ukrainian athlete Heraskevich, who has created a lot of headlines after he was banned for a helmet that had images of Ukrainian athletes who had died in the Russia-Ukraine war. And I think these are the kind of moments that might bring sympathy to Ukraine that Russia wanted to kind of preemptively discredit.
Matryoshka isn't just about one false story. It's about impersonating trusted institutions, exploiting major events, and flooding the information space with doubt. When you see a dramatic report, especially one drawing inflammatory conclusions about Ukraine, verify it directly with the outlet's official website and social channels. Because sometimes, what looks like legitimate journalism is just another layer of the nesting doll. Thank you for watching the NewsGuard Academy, a video series about practical tips to avoid falsehoods and verify information on your social media and newsfeed. I'm Sophia Rubinson, an editor of NewsGuard's Reality Check newsletter. To learn more about how you can verify information on your social media feed, be sure to subscribe to NewsGuard's Reality Check newsletter at newsguardrealitycheck.com. See you in the next video.